Meet Ned. Ned's dad once told him,
"If it looks like a pig and it acts like a pig, then it's a pig."
Good advice. Ned was bright enough to know what his dad was actually telling him, but he still put his own spin on the expression. Ned's version was,
"If I think it's a pig, then it's a pig."
Yep, Ned is a bully. There was a new girl in class, Absence. She definitely wasn't like any of the other girls. For a start, Absence lived with the traveling community that had just recently arrived in town. But most importantly to Ned, she was stunning. She had long, thick, silky, bright pink hair that framed a porcelain elven face with huge, intoxicating dark eyes. She also had a faint, musty smell around her. Though beautiful, centuries ago, she'd definitely have been branded a witch for being like that. What Ned particularly hated about her was the strong attraction he felt towards her. He fancied her like mad, but despite his advances, she just wasn't interested. In fact, she turned him down pretty embarrassingly in front of his friends.
"Meet me after school and I'll buy you some chips,"
he said with his friends standing all behind him trying to look cool. "I don't go out with kids," was her crushing reply.
"Cow!"
snapped Ned in her face as he flounced away with his gang. Absence couldn't have been less bothered, and just carried on with what she was doing. Shy little Jenny watched the whole thing. She'd once had the nerve to reject Ned's unwanted advances, and boy did he make her suffer for it. Ned and his gang had made her life, both in and out of school, miserable. She felt she had to warn the new girl about what was likely to happen.
"Hi, I'm Jenny,"
she said to Absence.
"Are you okay?"
"Why shouldn't I be?" replied Absence.
"Be careful with that guy, he's a bully,"
said Jenny. Then she went on to tell Absence about her experience after she'd upset Ned. "It was awful. It nearly broke me. I was scared to come to school," said Jenny. She told Absence that Ned was very popular. Not with the teachers or parents, but with a lot of the other kids at school. And this wasn't because he was fun, kind, or a nice person, or that he was captain of the football team. But it was because it was better and safer to be a friend of Ned rather than his enemy.
"He'd asked me to go out with him, and I said no. And that's when it all started."
"What started?" asked Absence.
"The cyberbullying,"
said Jenny.
"That night when I got home after school, I started getting these text messages. They were horrible. They were all anonymous, but I knew who was sending them. It was Ned and his gang."
"So what did you do about it?" asked Absence.
"At first, nothing. I was too upset," she said. "Then I started sending replies, asking whoever it was to please stop it. But that just made it so much worse. The things they were saying got so much worse. At first it was about me being fat and ugly, nobody liked me, I stank, I wore dirty clothes. But after, it was so much worse than that, like really dirty stuff about me and other boys. When I came to school, I could hear people snickering behind my back, pointing at me and whispering behind their hands about me. People that were once my friends wouldn't even sit with me or talk to me. So I told my mom. She told me what to do and what not to do. If Ned and his gang start sending you bad stuff, you mustn't respond. Don't answer anything that they send. Block them on your phone or computer and remove their stuff from view on your screen. But don't delete it though. Keep it as evidence and report the bullying to whoever provides the service you are using. It was really important, I told her. If it starts happening to you, tell your mom and dad, okay? My mom said that if it's really bad stuff, they'll take it to the authorities and get them involved.
"Well, that's one way of doing it," said Absence with a mysterious twinkle in her eye. "So did it work?"
"Yeah, he leaves me alone now," said Jenny despondently. "But he's still a bully to me at school."
"Thanks, Jenny, but you don't have to worry about me," said Absence. "I can take care of myself." Ned was smoldering with anger towards Absence. He'd looked like a fool, and in front of his friends, no less. Yeah, it was time to teach her a lesson. On his way home from school that evening, he and his friends surrounded Jenny, the girl he knew Absence had just recently become friendly with.
"I want to talk to you,"
he said,
"about the new girl, the cow, and you'd better tell me everything I want to know about her. You know what will happen if you don't."
Jenny was terrified of Ned, but she was brave and didn't tell him anything. This made Ned even angrier. She'll be next, he thought.
"Grab her arms,"
he shouted to his buddies, but Jenny couldn't stop them. While her arms were pinned to her side, Ned snatched her phone from her pocket, and on her phone were all the social media details Absinthe had shared with Jenny when they made friends. Ned had everything he needed right there. That night, with the help of his gang and his pals from the football team, Ned started his hate campaign in earnest. If I think it's a pig, then it will be a pig. Absinthe was bombarded with insults and obscenities on every social media channel and from scores of well-camouflaged people. There was no character flaw left unexploited, no slander too vile, no line left uncrossed. By the time he turned into bed, he was fully satisfied by his evening's work. Absinthe would now be toxic at school. Nobody would dare go near her or be her friend. She'd be isolated, humiliated, destroyed. Despite being tired, Ned couldn't sleep that night. He was too excited, looking forward to school the next day and seeing Absinthe suffer the humiliation she'd put him through. When he did finally drift off, it was a fitful sleep, full of nightmares and dark shadows. It was still dark when he woke. Not to his alarm, but to the sound of a text message arriving on his phone. His mouth felt bone dry, and all of a sudden, he had a splitting headache. Ned turned over to the bed and reached for his phone. Something was wrong. The phone felt tiny in his hands. He struggled in the dark to retrieve the message on his phone. His fingers felt fat and clumsy. When he eventually pressed the right spot, the message flashed onto the screen. It was a text from Absinthe, of all people. All it said was, "If it looks like a troll and it acts like a troll." Ned never returned to school, or ever left his house again. Well, how could he, with a body that's got a hunchback the size of a bear and a face like a gargoyle? Not everyone has the mysterious powers of someone like Absinthe, but that shouldn't stop you from always standing up to a bully. If you have stood up to your bully, tell us about it in the comments below. Or better yet, submit your story to our website with the title, "I Stood Up to My Bully."